It has officially been 1 year of me playing tennis. Thank you all for coming along on this journey, watching me play and watching me grow. Picking up tennis was definitely my favorite part of this past year. I cannot wait to play this sport the rest of my life and continue to get better. And I learned so much in 1 year. So this video is going to be about what I learned. If you're new to tennis, you can learn from this. If you've played tennis for a long time, I'm sure you can relate to this, but this is everything that I've learned in my first year of tennis that I wish I would have known when I started. If you followed the channel, you know I love the ball machine. And I have used it for a ton of dumb stuff, like hitting 1,000 backhands every day for a week, or trying to make 100 in a row. The ball machine is great for dialing in technique and trying to make any changes to your swings, but it is not the best way to practice. The wall, if I'm being honest, it makes less sense to me, but I understand the appeal. It also, not the best way to practice. Now guys, I may really blow some minds here, but my first tip is as simple as it gets. The only way to get better at tennis is to play more tennis. And it's not on the ball machine and it's not on the wall, but it's playing tennis with actual people. Like rallying back and forth in live situations. Yes, ball machine is great and the wall is great if you're trying to clean up some technical deficiencies, but there is no substitute for rallying back and forth. If you followed my channel, the biggest jump I ever made is when I hit 1,000 balls every day with an ATP Pro. Yes, I did have the luxury of hitting someone who is very good, but I'm telling you, find a hitting partner and just hit as much as you can, and you will get so much better than if you just grind on the ball machine. I had to learn the hard way. I spent the first 6 or 7 months hitting the ball machine as much as I could, when I really should have been looking for partners who are down to play every single day. My second big tip would be to use your other skills as a reference point for tennis, so you can transfer things you've learned in other areas to tennis. For me, a big one of those was basketball. For example, in basketball, the movement, particularly on defense, is very similar to the movement in tennis. You're shuffling your feet like this, trying to stay in front of the offensive player. Just like in tennis, when you're running around a shot, you're moving your feet like that and getting ready. The key is though, you can't take everything, and you've got to learn where the differences are. So in basketball, a big thing is keeping your chest to the defender. So you're not really turning very much. Whereas in tennis, you're shuffling, but you're also turning your chest and coiling. If you've watched my game, I really struggle with the turning and coiling part because I'm just not used to it. So identifying those things is super important, and you gotta do your best to get better at them, even if it's unnatural. Example number 2 would be with the serve. Now I started with the platform serve, but I noticed from basketball that jumping off 2 feet, I'm not very explosive. Thus, my platform serve was not very explosive. But give me 1 step, and I'm pretty explosive. So when I switched to the pinpoint serve, immediately I gained a ton of power and a ton of speed. So knowing what you're good at in other sports and how you can bring it to tennis is important. Now the other sport I've played a lot of is golf. I know what you may be thinking, how does this stationary sport translate to tennis? Well, like I said earlier, how I struggle to rotate on my forehand and backhand. Golf is an extremely rotational based sport. The whole golf swing is turning your body and going through. Something I really struggle with on the forehand. So the more I can translate this feeling into my tennis swing, the more power I will be able to generate on my forehand. Easier said than done though. Now the third thing I learned, and I wish I would have known, is you have got to find your own style. I spent like the first 2 months of learning a forehand trying to hit it exactly like Nick Kyrgios. Now, he's got one of the best forehands in the game, right? But it's pretty unorthodox and it's very hard to bring to the actual rally. I found that I am better with a classic Federer style. I think they call it the ATP forehand, not the modern forehand. But that works better for me, and it took me a while to figure that out. Now, I'm not telling you not to watch the pros and see how they hit it. I think that is vitally important to learn the basic fundamentals of a good forehand, good backhand, good serve. But if something's not comfortable for you, like the Kyrgios forehand wasn't comfortable for me at all, and I really tried to force it. If it's not comfortable, ditch it. Find your own style, find what is comfortable for you. Just because your game doesn't look like your favorite players doesn't mean you suck and doesn't mean you can't get to a high level. So find your own style, play to your strengths, trust it, and learn what you are good at, and learn what is comfortable for you, not what is comfortable for your favorite player. The fourth thing that I learned, and I cannot stress this enough, is practice your freaking serve. Guys, I understand it is hard to find a consistent hitting partner, but guess what you don't need another person to practice? Your serve. Guess what you also start half of the points you play with? Your serve. So why not practice it and have a really quality serve? Personally, I was able to compete with people who are a much higher level of tennis than I was because my serve was good from the start. And because I was getting to play with those better players, I also got better at tennis. So practice your serve and make sure it's good. Now here is a little serve routine that I like to do that I think helped me a ton, and I think it could help y'all. First, you start really nice and relaxed and easy, just hitting balls like this. That was really bad, but getting the motion down and getting that arm loose. That's beautiful. So good. But just warming up, getting a feel for the ball. But get nice and loose. I would hit about 20 of those balls. Next, I'm hitting about 30 balls with my regular motion, but I'm going about 50% and focusing on hitting it square in the middle of the face, getting it in, and hitting my spots. Just finding that rhythm is super important, and a really easy way to do that is just starting nice and slow. See, I'm not hitting it very hard, but that's still a really quality serve and something I can go to in matches. So after I hit about 30 of those balls, I'm gonna hit 10 to 12 second serves to get that warmed up as well. Second serve is something I neglected for a long time and still struggle with double faults, so make sure to practice that. Now after that, I'm going to hit about 20 to 40, depending on the day, at game speed in game situations. So I'm just gonna treat this like I'm serving an actual game. Start on the deuce side, hit a first serve. I'm thinking about where I'm gonna hit it. So for this one, I wanna go out wide. And I make the first serve, I move on to the ad side. But for example, I missed this one. Dang, that sucked. Now I have to move on to my second serve, and it's more of a pressure situation because if I miss, I double fault. I don't double fault that time, yay, I move to the next side. I do this 20 to 40 times depending how I'm serving that day, and really focus on no double faults and placing my first serves. Guys, just practice your serve. It's fun, the dividends it will pay is insane, and you can do it by yourself. It takes 30 minutes. Hit a couple buckets a week. It's the last thing I learned, and I'm lucky to have done this from the very start, is film yourself playing tennis. Now, I'm lucky enough to have filmed about 90% of the tennis I have played, and I've also spent like 2 to 4 hours a week editing a Sunday set every week for this entire year. Through that process, I've learned so much. Trust me, it's going to be ugly at first, no matter what your level is. There's going to be things about your game about your form that you just don't like watching, but that's why it's so important to watch it. When you know what is going wrong, you can fix it. Every week I see a new little thing that I need to work on, and it's not perfect. I still really struggle with my spacing on both the forehand and the backhand. I know my split step and my footwork is super sloppy, but would I know that if I didn't film myself every week and cry for 2 hours watching myself lose yet another Sunday set? No, I probably wouldn't. So guys, if you want to get better, film yourself, find the flaws in your game, be super critical, but also be willing to put in the work to get better, because that's what it takes. Again, I've said it so many times, I love tennis. I love watching tennis. So the more guys I see on YouTube grinding, the happier it makes me. Let's continue to build this community. I think it is awesome. Let me know what you think about these things that I've learned. Do you find it helpful? What did I miss? Also, what do you want to see next year on Winners Only? I'm trying to find some of the coolest places in the United States. So if you know of any super cool courts or courts with some awesome stories, let me know and I might make a video on it, because that's what makes me excited, is telling stories about tennis, meeting new people, traveling and doing cool things. That's what I want this channel to be. Again, thank you all for watching. Thank you for joining the journey. Winners Only. I'm excited for this next year. Peace.